She see money all around me. I look like I'm the man.
Hey guys, what's up? So it's Tutu Russin and I am coming to you live from sunny South Africa. I'm in my backyard. It's like it's a winter's day today, surprisingly. I mean, it's spring, but it's really cold out. I mean, cold for Africa, you know what I'm saying. Anyway guys, so I'm gonna get into a quick hand analysis for you guys. I've actually got two hands to break down that I played at a tournament recently. Okay, cool, so here goes. So hand number one, very interesting. We have 11 players left in the tournament. The average stack is like 14 big blinds technically, but because they're two big stacks, it's really closer to 10. I have one of the biggest stacks. Remember, this is it's like a tournament with no antes. It goes by like really quickly. It's like a turbo. It's a live tournament as well at a casino. So I've got 27 big blinds to start this hand. And Villain, who is just a regular at the game, he is a recreational player, likes to, you know, gamble it up, is the chip leader, and he has like 40 big blinds, or 37 big blinds to be exact. So he opens in the cutoff to, oh no, sorry, he limps the cutoff, and the small blind limps in as well, and I am in the big blind and I squeeze ace king off. So because I'm out of position and there are two limpers, I decide to make it plus 3 big blinds. So I raise plus 3 big blinds. Blinds are 816 at this point, so I make it 4800. Then the big stack just decides to jam it all in. So the other limper folds and it's back to me. So I've got ace king off here. This is obviously a very good hand. But yeah, just given the dynamics of this tournament, it makes the decision very difficult. So 4 places pay, and generally what happens in this tournament is when there's roughly like 4 or 5 people left, because the average stack usually gets so short, they make a deal where everyone gets roughly like 8 buy-ins like back. So like for instance, if you bought in for simplicity's sake, if you bought in for 1,000, you probably make a deal to take between 8 and 10 buy-ins, which is like 8 to 10,000 rand. Just for this example, that wasn't the payouts in this situation, but just to give you guys an idea. Yeah, I've made this camera angle a bit weird today. It just felt better. I don't know why, but just yeah, deal with it. So yeah, these are the factors that we're considering. We're considering, okay, there are 11 players left, 4 pay. I like my edge in this game, like really just post-flop. Like having more than 20 big blinds at this stage is super valuable. It's like you're going to cash a very, very big percentage of the time. And like, I guess if you're playing for outright first place all the time, which really, like I said, is a rarity in this tournament, it kind of changes your decision-making factors. But yeah, so just because it's against the biggest stack over here, calling is basically always going to be bad, because if he's, you just need to assume what hands he's going all in with. So like when someone limp jams over here, it's like, it's so random, you just kind of have to guess. In this scenario, I guess that I'm flipping a lot against his range. I figure he's going to have like a lot of pairs, maybe sometimes he'll have like queens and stuff. The one thing that I did take into consideration though is that because I've got ace king, it's 50% less likely that he's going to have aces or kings, and those are the only hands I'm really doing bad against. But the main point that I want to make here is that against someone that's going all in with a big stack, and you're the second big stack in the tournament, you really want more equity than you'd want normally, especially considering that the money is coming like so soon. And so if it's early in the tournament, like you should maybe always take this spot. I'm not even sure, but definitely with the pay jumps, you don't want to get all in, your second big stack to the biggest stack like in a race. You really just want to have a lot better equity. So in this scenario, I just decided to let it go. Yeah, I ran the numbers. It's just like you're always losing. I've actually got them written down on a piece of paper here somewhere. Yeah, it's always good to actually analyze the hands using software and stuff, and then come up to conclusions. Like lots of people just, you know, think like, oh, I should have done this, maybe this. It's just like, you don't really know everything. Yeah, so basically in our best case scenario, we're going to have roughly 52% equity when he calls. And worst case scenario, like when we call, and like worst case, we're going to have about 42%. So if we fold in this spot, we still got 23 big blinds to play, which is like plenty in this tournament. It's not like we're absolutely like just dead. So yeah, we just decided to go for the fold. So the next hand is against the exact same opponent. After he shows the pocket fours, he's just like, haha, my brew, haha, next time I'm gonna have the aces. Just like, cool, bro, you have those aces, whatever. So he opens in the hijack to 2.5 big blinds. The button calls, who's also like a relatively short stack. He's maybe got 12 big blinds. And I am in the small blind, okay? So blinds are 816, he opens to, 4K. I've got ace king offsuit. So I squeeze ace king offsuit over here, and I'm thinking, wow, I've got a few options. So the first option is to call, just flat call. So we're in the small blind over here, we can just flat call, and the upsides of flat calling are all his like king tens and like king jacks, and like a lot of these hands that might fall to 3-bet. People generally play pretty tight versus 3-bets in these games. And like all his like maybe ace-8 offsuits and stuff like that. All those hands that raise and fold to re-raise will still be in the pot with me. So when we flop an ace or king, there's a very good chance we can cooler this guy for a big pot, which is amazing. One of the big downsides is we're just going to under-realize equity a ton from here. Like we're going to call with ace-king, and the board's going to come like queen 4-9. We're going to check fold, and that's the end of our ace-king, and we're just down to 21 big blinds, whatever. Which is a pretty low variance route, all things considered. Another option which I hate is the raising, like 3-betting. Like people again play very face up against 3-bets. The one upside is you can 3-bet to like 5 big blinds, 4 big blinds, whatever, just depending on the pot size. Because I'm out of position, I'm probably going to go to like 3.5 big blinds, 3.8 big blinds, whatever. The downside is if this guy jams, we're just going to have to fold, because the range that he's doing that with is so strong. And again, because we don't want to go broke against the bigger stack when we have like a medium-ish stack, we just opt to fold our hand. Simple as that. So the next option is going all in. Now going all in is undeniably a plus EV decision over here. This is what I ended up doing, although in retrospect I'm not sure that I'm happy with it, because I bust in this situation. But here's what happens. I've got the ace king, I jam, he snap calls me, he's got aces and he holds up. I mean, like, you can't really be too results orientated here. He's not going to have aces and kings that often. And also you're going to profit so much from fold equity. So you need to think of how many like how many hands is your opponent opening here, and how many is he calling versus the jam. So I feel like 60 to 70% of the hands that he's raising, he's probably going to fold when I go all in. And that's so good, because we increase our stack by like 34%. When we do get called like the 40% of the time, we're probably not going to have that good equity, because he's going to be aware that he shouldn't be calling too light against us. So maybe even if he's calling like jacks plus, he shouldn't be calling this tight, but he'll probably will be jacks plus ace king, whatever. I mean, I am at a fellow big stack, so he doesn't want to like compromise his position, so that could be good. So yeah, we against that range we have 39%. So when we get called, which is only about 30% of the time, we are going to increase our stack by like 130% and be in a very good position to win the tournament outright about 40% of the time, and we're going to bust about 60% of the time. And then the lower variance routes, you almost never bust. You often lose your call, but you so you often lose your call playing out of position. But like there are times when you do cooler your opponent and you can win some chips. So yeah, I ended up going for the jam, which ultimately is plus EV. But I thought about it afterwards, and I was just like, I prefer the call, to be honest, just because I think I'm just so frequently going to make the money here, and I just don't want to ever get called when I jam here. Even if he decides to hero call me with like 8s, 4s, and hands of that nature, like I'm not stoked about it. So yeah, that's my hand analysis. I don't know if there'll be graphics and stuff here. Hopefully you're very poker inclined and you've been able to follow the conversation. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been a cool analysis. Just remember, keep working on your game, and eventually the results will come.